Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the garage. I'm recording my intro in the laundry room because there's a nice gentleman outside that decided it was a great idea to start mowing the grass when I was about to start recording. Today we're going to be working on our 2010 Nissan Sentra. This car is a gift for my mom. I'm going to be changing the spark plugs. I decided to record a video for this because the spark plugs are actually very difficult to get to. I'm going to have to remove the intake manifold and a couple of other bits and pieces. So I've got all the parts, I've got a lot of my tools ready, so let's go take a look at it and see what we've got to take off. Excuse the mess, I've been doing little bits and pieces to it. So this is the front of the car, obviously. Here's the motor. I can see one of the spark plugs is right under this guy. The rest of them under the intake manifold. I've got to remove these bolts here. Look like they're 8 and 10 millimeter from the throttle body. I've got 4 bolts around here are 8 millimeter. There's another 10 somewhere under here, and then another 10 millimeter there. I'm hoping I'm not going to have to replace the gasket on this, so fingers crossed. Let's start pulling some parts off. Just little updates here, because I don't want to keep moving my camera. I removed this vacuum line off the passenger side. It's on the intake manifold, so I just pulled it off the top of the valve cover. I removed the intake going into the engine, and looking at it, if you didn't know, this is not right. So this guy came off in this orientation. I had to remove this vacuum line off the top of the engine. I just used some needle nose pliers, and this part was going to the engine. That wasn't on there right. I don't know how long that's been like that. Obviously it's been like that for a while, so you can see all kinds of gunk has been getting sucked up into the engine. So I don't know. I'm gonna try to put this thing back on. If I can't, I might have to go to the junkyard and see if I can find a replacement one, because this, I'm glad I found this when I did. I mean, this thing's only got 135,000 miles on it, but who knows how many miles that has on there, just sucking all that trash into the intake. I've got 4 8 millimeter bolts to take out, and then the other ones on this, and hopefully this pulls out without having to take anything else off. Another quick update before the lawn guy gets any closer. Here's the 10 millimeter, focus, 10 millimeter bolt right here for the intake. Oh God, he's coming. On this side, I was originally trying to remove this lower bolt, if you can see that without the glare. This one is just really stuck, so instead I opted to remove this one in here. So as we see, we got the intake manifold off. Before you go pulling on stuff, if something's not moving, make sure you check to make sure you have all the bolts out. I missed these two bolts. I couldn't see them where I was standing. I had to move down. But if we take a closer look here, we can see all this junk. Like, some of that might have fallen down when I removed the cover, but I don't think all of it. And so I'm gonna wipe those off and we'll start removing our spark plugs. We've got these 4 individual coil packs. It looks like they are 10 millimeter bolts, 1 each. Shouldn't have to unplug those. I did just go ahead and remove these vacuum lines so we can get our entire manifold out of the way, just so I don't have to deal with it. But so far so good, it's going pretty easy. So I removed our first coil pack. I left it plugged in, just to set it out of the way. I'm going to be doing these one at a time, so I don't have to worry about mixing the order up in with these, which, I mean, I guess they go along the wiring harness, so not that big of a deal, but in general, that's how I like to do the spark plugs. I got myself some NGKs, iridiums off of Amazon. Got our torque specifications on here. There we go. For a 2010 Nissan Sentra, we've got the 91187. So these are a 14 millimeter size spark plug. I did not have the correct size in the spark plug sockets, so I'm using my 14 millimeter deep well impact. Don't use an impact on this. You can use the impact socket, and I've got a little adapter 1/2 inch to 3/8, so I'll probably have to use some of those little claws to reach in and grab that guy out of there once it's done. But I'm gonna put some anti-seize on there and some extra dielectric grease to keep the goop out of the boot. Well, wouldn't you know it, that 14 millimeter impact socket did not fit in there. So I went to the Harbor Freight, got some new socket set, deep wells, got a good 14 millimeter here. And this guy does fit. So let's get these pulled out now. wouldn't you know it, my GoPro battery died during reassembly. So putting the intake manifold back on, this nut came off that stud no problem. This nut came out with the stud. So when I was putting everything back together, because I removed this upper bolt here, instead of removing this lower mounting bracket, because this one's just kind of seized up right now, putting it over this lip was a pain in the butt. I managed to push against the plastic with a flathead screwdriver, pushing out that way to kind of open it up to allow that to go on. And because this stud came out, it actually made it pretty easy to get this bottom part over it. If that stud was there and I had to push that over that bracket, it would have been a real pain in the butt. Because this stud came out, the little butterfly valve manifold, whatever that one's called, actually slid down on this side. So to line up these bolts, I actually had to take a screwdriver and stick it down into this hole to kind of twist until I was able to line up everything to get this stud in. And then I slowly put these bolts down. You see that one in there, and there, that one there. So with anything, especially old cars, especially with plastic parts, the bolts or nuts, everything should be tightened down kind of not in order, but at the same time, almost like you're doing a tire, like you do that crisscross pattern. You want to apply an even pressure over the parts when you're tightening them down, especially as they age. Plastic gets brittle, you don't want anything to break. And of course, working on any old car, anybody who's done any work to older cars, plastic pieces end up being very brittle and breaking really easy. And if you're already fixing stuff, you don't want to have to fix anything else. Speaking of fixing things though, this the intake boot here, if we can see back this way, the rubber's a little twisted, but I do have it properly mounted onto the is it the throttle body? I don't know, I'm probably using wrong words for a lot of these. Regardless, it's on, reconnected the mass airflow sensor. I still gotta get some needle nose and put this guy back in place, and then I've got to take that engine cover and put that back on. But spark plugs are in, and yeah, it's good to go. That's how we change our spark plugs. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video informative for our 2010 Nissan Sentra. I'm dropping this off to Mom on Sunday. I know she's gonna appreciate it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, drop a comment, correct my terms, and yeah, you know, if you'd like to see any other kind of videos. As far as car maintenance, I'm just kind of going and doing it as I find a need with my vehicles. This thing's got 135,000 miles on it, and looking at all the shadow or grease. Looking at all the things that I've done on here, it's pretty obvious that some of the maintenance has been skipped. These spark plugs have probably never been changed, and you should change them 60 to 80,000 miles. This thing's got 135,000, so I think these were the OEM spark plugs that I pulled out. It is due for a valve adjustment. However, I'm not going that deep into it. Honestly, it shouldn't be that difficult, especially if you're already changing out the spark plugs. You know, pull the valve cover off. I don't know. Do the same thing you're doing now. Watch a video. But that's it. So, I'm so sweaty. Thanks for watching, and catch you guys on the next one. Bye.